Alright, so back onto this JTM45 reissue that's getting a hand-wired circuit put into it. Got everything pretty much assembled. There's still a little bit of cleanup left. I'm still waiting on that one bias capacitor to come in. One thing you'll notice in the phase inverter is that the plate resistors are heat shrinked. A little secret sauce. Some values that I've had to kind of put together that I've seen in some vintage amplifiers. Can't give everything away. So moving further down the board, see everything's assembled on the board. The carbon comp resistors in the signal path, and the mixing section, and the slope resistors. Alright, so moving on to the actual chassis itself, you can see that instead of the chicken head knobs, we've got the correct looking Marshall knobs. On the inside of the chassis, got the additional can capacitor mounted on the side like the originals were. Got a Larmar style master volume going into this. It's a 250K dual pot with some 2.2 meg safety resistors in there. That way if something happens to the pot, the tubes don't lose bias. Also went ahead and replaced the screen resistors with some 3 watt 470 ohms and added some 5.1K grid stopper resistors. Kind of help with the stability of the amplifier. A lot of gain in these Marshalls. Just helping with that. Got all the preamp tubes sockets replaced with some high quality Beltons. While I was disassembling the amplifier, some of the tube pins decided to break, so the client's getting some new ones there. Also, you can see some of the shielded wire that I've installed for the inputs. And see the one that usually crosses right over the filament wire is very elevated, so I don't have to worry about that, and it's shielded. Trying to keep all the noise down in the amplifier as much as possible. So you can see you've got all new alpha 3/8 inch shaft potentiometers installed. And before Lyle gets on to me, yes, all of them have star washers on the front of them. And you can start seeing the new ground scheme going in. Here's the other potentiometers with a bus bar and the bus wire going down from each of the potentiometer to the one ground point. On the input jacks, we've got the carbon comp resistors and the shielded wire. I decided to move those grid stopper resistors off the board and onto the jacks. Kind of very similar to how Fender did it in their amplifiers. To me, it just makes more sense to have them there. Plus, where they're mounted on the board is a very high DC voltage area. Now with the new fiber board, shouldn't have to worry about any leakage across the board. But to me, in my design, it's better just to have them mounted on the input jacks. So here's an overview of it mocked up. Still a good bit of work left on this amplifier.